Hello, and today we're going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. Let's get into it. This is Season 2, Episode 12 of the series, and we can get right into it. So, firstly, we are going to be starting down here in the Middle East, where we are going to be seeing Mesopotamia expand. As Mesopotamia continues their expansions, eventually reaching all the way down into these Persian regions. And they will eventually claim all this Persian coastline, eventually claiming most of the Persian Gulf. They will continue down here, going through here. Eventually, they will be claiming all of these areas. And this is Mesopotamia's claims. But Mesopotamia is not done, as they are going to go ahead and start rapidly claiming a whole bunch of these areas over here. Eventually, they're going to make a giant spearhead of claiming, eventually fully, colonizing this entirety of the Iranian region. Eventually, they will claim all this area, but the colony itself is different than the claim, let's just say, eventually, the Mesopotamians will be going ahead and claiming all of these areas here. For reference, the Iranian claim looks like this on the map, as you can see, but the actual colony of Iran, that's too big, that's not a major city, but the actual sort of colony looks something like this. So basically all the rest of this here is just unclaimed land. Yeah, so basically Mesopotamia claims a bunch more land. Going down here, we can see that the Armenian country will be going ahead and starting to claim a whole bunch of Arabian territory, hoping to try to kick Mesopotamia out of the region. Which who knows how successfully that's going to go. But the Armenians will be able to claim all of this territory here. And the UAE is going to attempt to do a similar thing, but they are successful at stopping the Mesopotamians from getting over into the Arabian Sea, which Mesopotamia doesn't really like, but what can they do? But the rest of this is just going to be claimed by the rest of the countries, as Mesopotamia announces that they aren't going to claim any more territory in Arabia, as they don't really see a point. Even if they claimed parts of the Red Sea, they already sort of have a bunch of influence over here with India. Yeah, but so Mesopotamia can already access the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Sea, so yeah. Through here and here. So yeah, Mesopotamia doesn't see a point, so they won't really claim that area. Going over here to this war, I'm going to put the alliance layer on. Like this. As we can see, Mesopotamia go ahead and Mesopotamian forces in Egypt start to absolutely destroy this rebellion. As they will fully defeat the rebellion, and Egyptian forces claim this major city. And eventually they will start pushing into core territory of the Arabian country. No, the Algerian country, as they get close to their capital city. It looks like the gold team is falling. But let's go back to this front line. As we can see, the blue team, the light blue team, will be going ahead and rapidly expanding into Greece, and so will the Romanian country, as this country quickly goes ahead and advances, but is quickly stopped by this river. There's still nothing going on in this front line. Going up here, we can see that the yellow team continues to be successful at taking major cities in the Lithuanian country, as they go ahead and are very close to taking their capital city. You don't really want that happening until a surprising amount of Baltic troops arrive in the Baltic country, and they start greatly pushing back. Levels of pushback that the yellow team wouldn't expect. Levels that could push back the gold Italians, or now the Mesopotamians, as they are the new strongest. Yeah, that's the thing. New power rankings, if I can find the layer, which I think is right here, yeah. Mesopotamia is number 1. Their new number 1 ranking. Yeah. Now it's time to go all the way down here to Iberia. As we can see, the oligarchist Iberians invade into Spain, as they quickly go ahead and take this major city, eventually pushing through these rivers, and Spain is just screwed up. They basically just can't do anything. They're Spain. They're kind of small compared to the rest of the world, so they just lose their capital and surrender. And the peace treaty looks like this, where Iberia or just the Spanish country, is fully annexed by this thing. Yeah. Let's go up to Britain now. As you can see, the Irish Revolution started as the northern parts of Ireland rebel away from the British Isles. And they will very quickly be able to take this region. Wait, let me see if I have provinces here. Oh yeah, I did do provinces here. I've done more provinces recently. I still need to do China's and India's provinces in the new areas, but it's up here. But with provinces, I have updated these. And the Irish thing rebels. Its thing will quickly be able to go ahead and start the invasion of Scotland, as its goal is to get as much land away from the British as possible. But the British are a decently powerful country, so they will be able to push them back out of here and make a landing over here, which eventually will be able to capture Dublin. But the main city that the capital is going to be in is over here, which is the one farthest away from the British. I understand. Yeah. As they will be able to go ahead and take the entirety of the eastern side of this nation. Yep, eastern, taking two major cities. But the two main capital cities, or just governments functionings, are here and here. The main one is here, but they're kind of far away from that. So, that's a thing. Going to Scotland, the Scotlandese decide to rebel away from the British as well, as they go ahead and take the whole northern area. Eventually, we'll be able to rebel, taking all these Scottish areas. The Scottish are declaring independence, and so is everybody, as the British are forced to send troops out of these two major cities, and well, the British are kicked back just to England. But it gets worse, as the Welsh rebellion pops up, eventually taking the southern half of Wales. And while these things is just kind of like separate rebellions, if we wanted to look at an actual rebellion map, the real rebellions, the reason I said two major cities over here as like the capitals is because the actual rebellion map looks more something like this, if I can call it. Yeah. Then a new one will be popping up over here, as this one also wants to declare independence, and the people are going against Britain, and eventually, well, these areas are just going to rebel, and this becomes the biggest rebellion. Before, obviously, things have to go wrong, and that part rebels away from the rebellion. Yeah, rebelling away from the rebellion. Yeah. And then this country is going to start their invasion of the British Isles, as they want to get that capital region, and or just get more coastline, as controlling this strait here will be very useful, and the British are weak right now, so they will be able to capture the capital city. As the Cornwall country will also be rebelling away over here, and the British are just in a giant mess. So this thing is just going to claim a bit more territory, and the British are just going to surrender and to the other rebellions popping up. And we can look at the peace treaty of this war. And this might just be enough to tell you what of a mess this is going to be. It only be a bit of chaos down here, especially in England. There's nothing weird going on here. There's only like this the weird thing that has an exclave all the way over here. Nothing weird going on. Yeah, definitely. And by the way, this actually does follow the provinces. Here's the division of provinces, rivers, and major cities. Basically every major city down here is a capital, and yep, capitals. This is craziness, and let's go away from Britain. But why is this happening anyway? How does it not even connect here? Like, there's no trade routes thingy here. But, so, why not the trade routes layer? Oh, somebody decided to build an English trade route. Who knows if that's a very good idea? As a few boats from this country, while invading this thing, or attempting to invade this thing, before the English stopped them, they played kinda God over to England. And well, that's what caused this weird thing, and now England is in chaos. Very normal things happening in England, right? Just the trade routes that are bigger than some exclaves here. Only a few exclaves, and the tiny Britain that you can't even see on the map. Few more trade routes, the actual original British country is literally impossible to see, and that's how you know that we have good Europe maps. Yeah. Going over to the southern French country, we can see a rebellion break out. Another one. This one wants to be different, and this one wants to become kind of like the Danish country, but not fascist. Yeah. So basically, this thing will be going ahead and basically trying to divide the country in half, as they take 4 major cities from the French country. I think I should turn on rivers real quick. There. But this country is still pretty strong, so it'll be able to push back, eventually getting past this river and taking this major city. But this thing is still decently strong. So, yeah, this happens, and, the river border is here, and no countries sort of make any advances, so we can look at the treaty of this war. It's the peace treaty of the war as the southern French country gains its independence. But a pretty cool thing about these trade routes is this thing, the capital city is here, not here, which this is actually a bigger city than this one. But they chose this city because of its strategic location on the trade route. But who knows how good it is to have a bunch of trade going through your capital city, especially now with the thing that just happened only a few hundred miles north. Yeah, that's something. It's time to get back to this war. As we can see, the yellow team continue to advance over into Greece as this major city is recaptured. And so is this one, as the yellow team forces will be working in order to attempt to defeat Greece, which is probably the second biggest rival other than Italy. Yeah, wait, what happened here? I thought this was not like this. Guess the Italians pushed back. Yeah. And, Mesopotamian forces are still going to do extremely well, as the Mesopotamians will be making their invasion of Cyprus, taking the island out. But who knows how it's going to go? But it's going well for Greece currently in this area, as the Athenians have been pushed back greatly, and the Athenians start to lose their ground, and the Athenians begin to fall, especially when Egypt makes the invasion of Crete. And the Athenians are just gone at this point, as Athens, when they lose their capital, just surrenders. Athens is officially out of the Yugoslav War. Or maybe I could call this the Mediterranean War. Every country in the Mediterranean is currently involved in it, except this tiny thing here and this thing. So I could call it the Eastern Mediterranean War, or maybe just the Eastern War. I don't really know what to call it. But then, going over here, we need trade routes. As we can see, the Ukrainians may start to make the invasion of the trade route and taking this major city. Many Ukrainian forces storm over into the border of this country, eventually taking multiple major cities over here in this area of the Romanians. And they're very close to taking their capital. But, as we can see, Romania is in the Triangle Alliance, and the Triangle Alliance includes all these countries, and the Triangle Alliance declares war on Ukraine. That's big. But Ukraine prepared for this, knowing that the Triangle Alliance would invade. They're invading this, according to them, for the protection of their sovereignty, which isn't a very valid excuse. It's just a trade route. You can still be sovereign without a trade route. Look at, you. This country. No, this country. This is a sovereign country, and they don't have any trade routes. And they're still sovereign, so who knows how long that's going to last, but the Ukrainians will be sending their forces in anyway with the excuse of their sovereignty needing to be protected, and going through the trade routes, slamming mainly into them and these major cities. As they take this full control of the trade route and try to destroy as much of it as possible. As they get close to taking the capital of, the Caucasian country. If we take off the alliance layer, we can see that the Romanian capital is captured by Ukrainian forces, and the trade route is getting absolutely taken over by the Ukrainians, but trade is being stopped because of them, and countries don't really like this. But who knows if you're a good example? Maybe you guys, yeah, in Western Europe, yeah. You guys don't really like that, but still. But the Ukrainians' operations will still go well as they continue their invasions, taking this river and eventually absolutely decimating these nations. And eventually will be taking this major city and getting close to taking the capital of the Blue Nation. But the largest invasion of all, the invasion of Russia, happens as the Ukrainians send their forces up, taking two major cities, but they won't be able to get past this river, as this river is basically a very large river in Russia, and it is used to protect the Russians a lot. Yeah. And this is the current front line, and Ukraine is controlling the most they have ever controlled. But the Greeks will be able to push back because of this. Eventually, we'll be able to take this major city. That's pretty large. But going up here, we get turn off trade routes as Germany rebels away from the yellow team. It's really happening as the yellow team has had enough, or the people, and well, the Baltic thing will be starting to push back, eventually capturing all the claimed lands as the yellow team starts to get pushed back. Yeah. As more countries will even start to join the war, as this country starts the invasion of the yellow team, hoping to get back the old land. The yellow team is not doing well. As then the gold Italians start the rampage and start the invasion, is what they call it, and rapidly push towards the yellow team capital. But it's getting even worse as the red country decides to join the war. But not just the red country. If we go to the alliance layer, we can see an economic alliance being formed. This is the French Economic Unity Pact, and while it is going to be invited, all the French nations are going to join it. According to them, French nations are like nations that stem from France, so basically all of Iberia can join, and all the Benelux countries, and even England. All the English countries can join. All the countries allowed to join are like all of these countries here are allowed to join the alliance if they wanted to. Nobody else is, but that's pretty cool. But for now, all the main French countries will be joining the alliance, and so will Germany, the new Benelux Republic, and all these Benelux countries will be joining the alliance. Let me move this here. And well, this alliance is pretty large, as it even gets Denmark, which is a pretty radical country as of now, since they're the first fascist country in the war. But this alliance has more that happening as the red team starts their invasion of the gold Italians, with French forces coming voluntarily over into gold Italy to get revenge for what the Italians did to the French a long time ago. Yeah. Let's go to the green team. The green team's going to be joining the war against the Triangle Alliance, and they will be the one taking this capital city here, which isn't very liked by these nations. I think we should actually make these sides real quick. Maybe not. I don't know. What should we do with this war? This war's been going on for a while, actually. Let's go back to the Egyptian front. As the Egyptians continue to expand over here, eventually taking this capital city. And then this war becomes from the Eastern War, which is its current name, over to the Mediterranean, the Eastern Mediterranean War, as the Lime team joins the war, being the last nation in the entire Mediterranean to join the war. As the Lime team invades, hoping to get more dominance over the Western Mediterranean and attempt to stop the Triangle Alliance, Star Alliance, and all that it's for. And this campaign is going to go very nicely as these islands are taken, but well, it goes successfully as the Sardinians are sort of island is captured and Corsica is captured, and we can see that the gold Italians are pushed back to just Italy. The Star Alliance has collapsed. It's all down to Italy to keep the Star Alliance alive. But who knows how long this could last. But they do have a few countries on their side against Greece. But who knows? This is a very confusing war, especially with the yellow team. But before, let's get to the end. Wait, do I have the Yugoslav color? Yeah, I still do. Found it. As the Yugoslav rebellion will be popping back up, the Yugoslavs are prideful and want their independence really badly. So they will be breaking away from both the yellow team and the red team, as the new Yugoslav Republic has a different flag than they have like an official republic flag, hoping to take out Greece and hoping to actually become an independent nation in this very complex world. Yeah. But well, let's go back to the Ukrainian front. As we can see, Russia has broken through the gold teams, the Ukrainians' divisions. As the Ukrainians start to lose ground, eventually we'll be losing 3 major cities over to the Russians, and the Russians start to rapidly advance over here, eventually starting a spearhead towards the Mediterranean Gulf. The invasion plan is to sort of invade and get to the capital, which eventually will just force the whole thing to surrender. Yeah. And the blue team will even start to push back, as they hope to gain more territory, and well, they will work in order to take this major city, take this one, and wait, is this official border? Yeah. Oh, this is the war before the border. Very nice. Giant war. But, well, because of the Romanians collapsing, we can see the red team recapture the old capital of this nation thingy here, and we'll be able to take this and recapture Istanbul. And well, before we end off this video, we can see the green team join the war, and they will decide to choose and invade this country, quickly taking Istanbul and pushing towards its capital. But not only that, they will declare war on the Triangle Alliance, and we'll think we should do one more thing. One main rebellion pops up in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamian peoples have had enough, and the Israeli rebellion pops up over in Mesopotamia as the Israeli Republic wants its independence. And that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's scenario where civilization started over. See you in the next episode where we'll continue these shenanigans and maybe see the end of this very long war. Bye!